Hey guys, Raccoon City Pizza here. So, this is probably going to be my most unprofessional video yet. So I do apologize about that in advance. A couple things though before I get started with this discussion today. Um, I have a very, very big project planned soon. If time will allow it, if I'm able to do so. But this project is probably going to take all year. It's going to be a very, very, very big project. Um, so we'll see how it goes. I don't want to make any promises yet, but I have a really good idea. Something that I think a lot of people will really like. But we'll see how it goes. Um, Ironically, this project is going to be kind of like a documentary. Um, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But speaking of documentaries, George A. Romero's Resident Evil is amazing. It is so good. So Brandon Salisbury, who made this, Brandon, you did an amazing job, man. I don't want to spoil too much because it's still relatively new. But you can go buy it at several different services online, and I believe there will be a physical release later on this year, if I understand things correctly. But man, where do I even begin? It wasn't just a documentary, you know. It wasn't just sitting there spilling facts about things. We see just amazing visuals, like just the way that some of the things are filmed. It looks so good. Like the documentary, just like it just pulls you in. I mean, the atmosphere of some of the scenes while the audio is going over, it's just perfect. I love it so much. And speaking of the voiceover, I did not know this until after, which I thought his voice sounded kind of familiar, but the guy who is doing the documentary, the voiceover, is actually the original Albert Wesker from the very first Resident Evil 1. I think his name's Pablo, I think. Am I right? I could be wrong. But yeah, that was so cool. And I have to say, his voice to me sold it. I mean, his voice and the way that he punctuated things, it really just, I don't know, it's just something about his voice really did sell it. I don't know how to really explain it. There were a lot of really cool guests on there. Again, I'm not really going to spoil anything, but a lot of really cool guests. I'm pretty sure, which I'm not going to lie, I was kind of going to sleep during this live stream, but I think live stream, I want to say last week with Brandon on the Residents of Evil channel, I think he mentioned that the zombie in this documentary was actually him shaved, which was really cool because I didn't think that was him, but I'm used to seeing Brandon with a big old beard, not shaved. So but that was really cool, that scene. Again, I'm not going to spoil it, but a lot of these scenes genuinely feel like they are scenes that were filmed back in the early 2000s, late 90s. They have that really just grungy, just I don't know, like dirty type of environments around them. It has that feel. It has that environment. There were other scenes too, like at the very beginning of the documentary. I was already smiling ear to ear. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And again, it felt retro. It's hard to explain. I wish I could say more, honestly, but again, I do not want to spoil it. Now, one thing that did make me go like, oh my god, that's freaking cool. They had, I can't remember his name, so I do apologize, but he was one of the developers or creators, I believe, of the original Resident Evil. And he was talking about the creation of like the stars and Umbrella. And there was one little fact there about the name Umbrella and what that represents and what that means. I thought that was so clever. because all my life I've always wondered, like umbrella, like it sounds cool, but umbrella, what is that? Is there a symbolic meaning there? Is there something? But yes, there is, and I never knew that, and I thought that was so cool. And honestly, I've watched this documentary like 3 times already. I watched it the day it came out, and I watched it like several days after, and I can't get enough of it. Every single time I watch it, I pick up on something that I didn't before. And I think JJ from Residence of Evil said the same thing, and honestly, I agree with him. I mean, maybe it's also because I have ADHD and my mind kind of just splinters off into 5 different directions whenever I'm trying to focus. Maybe, I don't know. But man, it was so good. So good. And Brandon, man, if you're watching this, you did an amazing job, dude. So good. I do know he has a film coming out soon. I unfortunately cannot remember the name of it, but I am friends with him on Facebook. I do follow him, and it looks really good. I can't wait to see what Brandon has in store in the future, because I am definitely going to support him. And I highly suggest you guys do that too. Even if you're not really a big fan of documentaries, which I'm not, honestly. I never have been. You need to watch this if you are a Resident Evil fan. Even if you have read through the George Romero script and you don't like it, which I understand there were some weird things here and there, trust me, you need to watch this. It goes into so much more. There was so much love put into this documentary. I swear, it was made for Resident Evil fans. I mean, it was made for everybody, of course, but there's so many little details, little things there, where I'm like, aha, I see what you're doing. So, yeah, man, I could ramble on this all day. And again, sorry, this video is very unprofessional. Guys, I have been extremely busy lately. Very busy. I'm having to do a lot of things right now. But I wanted to go ahead and get this out here while the documentary was still fresh on everybody's mind. Go watch it, man. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So, thank you, Brandon, for making this. Thank you for everyone who helped support this project, and everybody who ultimately were behind the scenes. Everybody here did an amazing job. So, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you guys.